Hello. Alright, let's just get this back up and running. I'm not entirely sure how confident I am in how the rest of this is going to go, to be honest. First things first, before we dive right into continuation, let's poke around the castle a little. Okay, so that was I guess a 50-50 chance to either get a new spell or not get a spell. I guess I could reload to try it again, but I honestly think even with just heal, cure, and revive, that's about all I'll need, like, forever. So they wanted me to not do the courtyard, but instead do go back to the dungeon and into the sewers now that I can break things. Here we are. Hello. So, like, the main thing is, like, because dog attack levels up and scales, well, like, so much more effectively, honestly, a lot of the game you want to, like, foster the dog or maybe even play as the dog, but main problem with controlling the dog is you kind of lose context of how the boy is doing. Like, you can still use alchemy when using the boy while you're as the dog and all, but I find it easier to lose track of the boy's health, and the boy dying is still instant game over, even if the dog is still alive. This is not an equal party. Huh. Dog just attacked right into the wall. I'm guessing this is going to go to chests I already checked and not the ones that I want to find. Yeah. It's kind of a problem with it when you have a party of 2 and only one of those 2 can do people things. Looking for where the new path is. Somewhere in all of the breakables I have already broken. Get out of here. Stop it. I think this is just going to take me back to... Yeah. So that doesn't help. So I guess the barriers come back? I don't know why. There are barriers in other places that don't. It gives me a second chance to remain in context of where the general direction of walled off areas are. Ah, here we go. So up past the barrier or door number 2. If this just goes back into the heck forest, I'm out. It sure does. Imagine using a lance, like an actual lance, with overhead stabs. Well, I mean, everything in the general lance category basically behaves exactly the same, right? Dog is, like, super lost. Forget the dragons. I don't care. Too many enemies in this game are just too, like, actually annoying to do damage to. Which is indeed why we have Crush, but there doesn't appear to be any place in this act that lets you refill Crush, so it's going to be a little sparing on the crushing. Of course, things that fall the second time you step on them, even if they didn't show any signs of being crumbling stuff. I hope you didn't want to keep a mental map, because that's not happening. And boss fight. Bye. Okay. Alright, so don't bother actually trying to fight this thing. Got it. Engaging crush mode. Yep, it looks like, if it happens to grab me, then it's no longer, like, able to be hit by crush, even if it's already in the air from beforehand. That's cool. Oh, this isn't gonna work. Never mind, I guess. You know what would be great to have right about now? A charge attack. Thank you. You know what, speaking of ranged damage, that worked. lightning storm. Sounds neat. I guess I will get rid of Revealer for now. If I have to come back and put it back on, that'll be regrettable, but meh. So a fun thing about that bazooka, it has limited ammo. You start with 1. There's no way to get more until you're into Act 4. But you know, I felt like it. Now we are fighting the puppets. We are fighting one of the puppets. The other one is now dust. And Mongola time. Tasteful. I would say this might have been an interesting escape sequence, but no, it's just you walk down. Good news, now both of the towers are half destroyed. So they are once again symmetrical. So you know what? Let me check my weapon skills here. Yeah, Bronze Spear got close. Gladiator Sword not even close. Yeah. So even though I've been like favoring spears whenever possible, I still have not managed to get anything up to level 2 other than the prehistoric weapon, which is not going to do enough damage even charged to matter. I mean, it would technically be useful just as a ranged option, but I have Crush for that. Alright, so the town here is all emptied out. And I can only imagine that continuation is going back to Ebon Keep. So yeah, that was it. That's the end of Act 3. So the big climax, you go fight Mongola in the theater room. So you can definitely say that Act 3 has quite a bit less actual content than Act 2 did, but none of them hold a flame to Act 4. But we can't just go to Act 4. First we have to do a massive sidetrack. The pre-4 segment. About that, everything is still kind of a shambles. What about you, Tinker? Got anything for me? Where the hell is Tinker? He's got a something. Tinker? Oh. And now all of those samey looking screens with a fire pit in the corner make sense. By the way, Mode 7. I'm mostly grateful that they made everything, like, super apparent. Like, this is prehistoric, because that's bug muck, with all the tar and the giant bug readily visible. It looks like the dog statue landed all the way out here. Yeah, that was just a raptor trap. First time you go in there, it closes behind you, and there's 3 raptors you need to fight in closed quarters. That was kind of an exciting part of the game. Yeah, I want to say that right over there is one of the things I need. Good evening. Oh, the top of the volcano is no longer inhabitable. And the person that was up there probably very dead. Okay, that's one of the things. I want to say, like, the thing that I was most, like, I guess I would say miffed by was the drainage pipes in the volcano. There's just a whole lot of trial and error with no fighting, no, like, risk or danger. You just try different paths, and eventually you'll find the one that gives you what you're after. Yeah, luckily for me, I figured out through observation of people that enjoy the game much more than I do, that the secret with the forest is you just follow the maps that have like little gremlins in the trees. Repeatedly going in the wrong houses, just like old times. This place is way too big and samey for a, like, starting town. But yeah, I've already lost a few permanently missable alchemy formulas. Like, things that you don't even think would be a place where you would have a permanently missable alchemy formula. But they do. Yeah, that's for sure. You have like FF4, Secret of Mana, Seventh Saga, Illusion of Gaia, that whole series. The text is pretty questionable. I would say there's no reason for me to be hitting these, but I severely want to get my spear to level 2. Granted, it's going to be replaced again, but I might just not use a replacement spear. If I can get this one to rank 2 before I'm that far. Yeah, the problem is it doesn't really matter anyway, because I mean I can just destroy everything between full power dag and crush anyway, right? So at some point I just kind of conceded that I don't really need to bother. So I don't really know what I'm looking for out here, but I'm hoping it's outside. I did kind of beeline on my way in here. I should check the other ways, because it's fairly certain that wherever I last look is where it's going to be anyway. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it is, because you have to refight it, and it's like gray-green this time, or something like that. Why? Because it's the boss on the front cover. Also, speaking of places that aren't actually super fun, Bug Muck. Especially this map. Because when you're early in the game and not really very good at controlling things and all that, the bone serpents are very not nice to you. Which, granted, it's a pretty cool box art. A really neat depiction of Thrax. That's why this map is just not very interesting, because enemies don't respawn on it. And it's just kind of a series of wrong ways that don't look like they're wrong ways until you've taken them, and then they collapse behind you, and the only recourse is to go back to the start. So it's just kind of, like, after a point, it's just running through to find a different path you didn't take last time. Hey, Lance leveled up. So yes, apparently the prime way to level up your weapons is just to bash enemies that give you, like, no experience, but they die in one hit. And then you still miss. Yep, here we go. Nope, I was wrong. This is blue. dagger is actually up low. I will say that this track is probably my favorite part of Act 1. See if I can interrupt the damage. Yep, Dag didn't die. Alright. Having a usable charge attack for the first time in several hours has been pretty novel, but time to actually do damage. That would have taken several more minutes if I had just stuck to spearing. And only partly because the arms keep interrupting and getting in the way of the shot. Let's see if the guy over here is still here and still sells stuff. Yep. Just getting some easy kills to see if I can get this thing to 3. I'll head down to Strong Heart too, why not? I'll see if I can still find the defense up alchemy that I missed the first time. That's nice. Status and a little healing, so just better cure. I'm wondering, why is there a minus next to heal, like out past the water symbol? There's not on any other water symbols. It's not part of the background because it moves with it. It's got to be there deliberately. Anyway, this is also one of the last times where it's relatively efficient to pick up ingredients on the way to stuff you're doing. So anytime I ever get more ingredients past this point, it's all going to be me going out of my way to get to places where they sell them. Oh, that's just a pedal. Must be why it's unopened. So you got anything else for me, Fire Eyes? No. I can't say I remember where the other landing pad is. So I'm just gonna head back to the one I came in on. Because I'm pretty sure that it's like miraculously somehow at every landing pad. So you just have to go to any landing pad to be good to go. Let's see, how's that doing? Not great, but I'm happy with the level 2. Anyway, time to go look for Act 2. Which is out here. What do we got for landing pads? There's one out here. I don't think I care though. No, I wouldn't say everything. I'm still, like, in the middle of the Great Backtrack. Which means you have all of, you know, the joy of Act 4 to look forward to. Is there even a landing pad this way? There's gotta be. Ah, way over here. But yeah, for as great as basically a victory lap is, there is still Act 2 ahead. Or 4, yeah. Thinking one thing in another. It's fine. I imagine the heal part of Miracle Cure is going to be very slight. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I need jewels to do that. You haven't converted your currency. None of you sell stuff. So, of the dogs we've seen, 1, 2, and 3, what is your favorite dog? I'm pretty sure somebody in here converted talons. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. Okay, now that I've done that extremely important business, I can go buy the ingredients I was after. Just let me hit the monk. Or get plagued by the monk, whatever. So, from what I recall about plague, it ticks very quickly compared to other afflictions. It also doesn't wear off unless you cure it. Anyway, off to chorus. But first, yet another ingredient spot to make sure I have all of. Blimp kind of covers everything you need. Why is he called Blimp? I don't know. He's not even from an age that has blimps. Alright, Horace, what's the news? If you're here. He's not here. He's gonna be over at Nobilia. Of course. Not that I have to care about the desert anymore because I can fly, but before I even worry about going elsewhere, there's someplace I know I can check now that I couldn't check before. Get out of here, spider. Oh, of course. Random rock this way, because they can't just be a even circuit. There is a levitate rock. Good. You know what levitate rock means? It means I don't have levitate, so I have to go out and do all that again. Did you think I could just do the thing? That's silly. I have to go to somebody that does reagent stuff. Which means all the way back to across the river. So if you know, don't say anything, but if you've never seen Act 4 of this game, tell me what you think the Act 4 dog might be. Luckily, I do have some mud peppers, so I don't have to go all the way to Blimp. No. Yeah, let's just go down and not go out through that camp. Probably quicker. Oh yeah. Go away, Oglins. I don't care. Yeah, that was what I couldn't do the last time I was here. That nets me some ethanol. Well, so far this has been totally pointless, but... This takes me to another item that I already checked the last time I went in here. And isn't something I can use. This place is great. It's just swarming with basically the two worst enemies in the game. Isn't that awesome? Is there anything else in here even, or do I just get to wonder what's behind the third thing now? Now, it's possible it's a stand on all three thing, now that one of them is covered. There we go. Well, there's gotta be something I can do other than just fight these, right? These don't seem to respect both directions correctly, so I'm going to try re-entering every one. Which I think I already have. You're only making me stronger, Tiny. I am fairly certain this is going nowhere. Here we go. Oh, cool. I get both of them at once. So that means that the big backtrack is done, technically. It is not the last time that they ask you to go back to old areas, but it is the last time you must. Okay, one last check-in with the blimp and we are out. Quite possibly the last time I will ever get ingredients for Crush. Personally, I have quite a fondness for the enthusiasm of Poodle Dag's wagging. Okay, but can I buy ingredients first? No? Okay. So welcome to this screen. This screen is most of Act 4. We'll be back there momentarily. Toaster. Okay, but waffle weasels. Sure hope we don't get an Aquagoth refight, and these are just tentacles for the sake of being tentacles. That portal is not on. Getting out of here. Oh yes, Dax attack power goes so high that at risk of damage capping from the start. Okay, this one is spinning extra fast and pushes you down. If you say so. Daggett, what are you after? Toast. Got it. Speaking of not keeping weapons long enough to get them leveled up. This raptor is making like laser noises. Anyway, welcome to the majority of Act 4. There's going to be a lot of this map with like diversions into things that might look like content but were not finished. So how this works is only Daggert can go to the outside part. And you must destroy these to be able to pass through underneath. These things aren't dangerous or hurt or anything, it's just something you have to do to get around. Boy, don't get manhandled by the large spinny. Anyway, this is going to really suck until I can get new gear, which I don't know when or how good it's going to be. Yes, at this point, Dog doesn't just do a lot more damage than before, also multi-hits on every single, like, time I attack. It looks like 3 shots, and it is 3 shots that can all hit. So yes, I'm going to spend a little time going around showing all these stupid barrier things, because they're completely arbitrary and there's nothing stopping me from just getting them all out of the way. And I just have Flappy Boys to worry about. That, I'm pretty sure, is the end. Don't remember where and why you get to it, but I'm pretty sure that is the gate to the end. I am pretty sure these things stay destroyed. If they don't, then weh, but... Now that's what I call padding, Volume 4. Luckily, Robodag is super fast and doesn't care about being left at 0%. Okay. Now it's time to actually play the act. So A1's where we started. Head over to 2, see what we got here. So there's that big hub, then there's a bunch of just places that may have stuff, may not have stuff, may have been intended to have stuff but didn't end up having anything. And now the defense issue is solved. Can you not sell the spots collar? Not that I mind, I just wasn't sure it was actually there because it wasn't showing up in the sell menu. Alright, one more thing we gotta do. Huh. The particle bombs and cryoblasts didn't expend when I shot. I was gonna use one so I could get them to 99, but I'll take infinite, I guess. Yeah, they just aren't going down. Nope, it connected and it's still 90. Okay. I have infinite bazooka. Congrats, game. puts me out in another, like, section. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, it's going to. Oh, is this connected to the other place I was just at? In that case, I'll super overload on things a little more. Not that it matters, because I wasn't thinking I was going to end up expending that many anyway, but... Let's see what's going on here. If I go in any of the too thin gaps, it's gonna zap me. Or burn. Yep. That applies to all of these gaps, so... Never mind on the actually doing something here part. I assume I do something else and then that place is more navigable. Like this. But yes, until I meet the professor, this is literally it. Hopping into random holes, seeing what random thing is in there. What is old reliable that I just picked up? It's not one of those. Was it in here? No? Yes, it is an arbitrary, unlisted key item that I acquired that will become relevant at some point. So this is probably going to take me to another section. Yeah. Not doing another section yet. I want to go back and make sure I've checked all of the things in the previous section. Wasn't anything down. C2 I don't think I've been in, but I think B2 and A2 were the lower and upper quote-unquote town. No wait, yeah, this was the switch. So let's see, does this go to the right then? No. Neither does that. Doesn't go down to D1. D1 is later. I'm sure they will give me an idea as to what old reliable is sometime before I'm done. And if not, I don't mind. Straight over to D3. Doesn't go up though. Oh yeah, maybe it's armor. I didn't actually check that. Yep, that's armor. Thank you. I wasn't thinking about that. I must have checked every other menu that exists. The fans have gone rogue. Access code. Got it. That's not a very secure password. There were like, what, 27 combinations? There's not even like anybody making sure you're not over there tampering with stuff. Multicolored Thraxes. I guess this was the storage. Yeah, this is the part where they just kind of throw stuff at you because they know you're done. Maybe if I come in here while the lighting is off, I can open up those other two that were closing themselves. But, I hate to admit it, but I don't extremely care. I don't think I want to be in there. This was C4. Yeah, I'll save C4 for later. It feels endish. I wanted to check that greenhouse, wherever that was, which might have been C4, but yeah, I guess there's nowhere else to go but that spot. This is nothing. That's nothing. Yeah, it's just C4 now. Can't shake the feeling that this room has an important feel to it. Like I should have been attacked going through there. And again, maybe that's what I got out of deactivating that code. I'm still short 2 weapons, but I'm pretty sure the game is fairly aware that they can't possibly give me a weapon I'll give a crap about, because I have this. Are you going to attack? No. You don't chop. Was I supposed to leave this place off? No. I'm just silly. What the heck? Okay, so the ones that are active will one-shot you. Got it. Would you knock that off? Okay. This, kind of sucks. Okay, I can see the ones that are active if I menu. Can I crush them? No. They are completely unreactive to everything. You know what? I really think I should have come in here with the lights off. Like, I get the distinct impression they won't be doing that if the lights are off. Now, apparently Thunderballs go over 99 even though you can't buy them past 99. Cryoblasts are infinite. And the neutron bombs are also infinite, but picking up extra just puts you over. Also, that is closed again. Yes, I'm going to not have that be happening. Sounds like a plan to me. I'm gonna check this again with it off to see if that lets me open the two other things that just kept closing themselves. These things just come on the screen way too fast for you to actually react, because you're so far forward on the screen. They spawn, you don't have any warning until they're on the screen coming at you, and they just zip into you. Very dark in here. And those unaffected eyes are very intimidating. And the fans are still rogue. No, they don't even try to open if it's dark. Oh well. So yeah, if you're wondering why the dog is doing so much more than 999 when 999 is the cap, it's because, like I said, it's a multi-hit. And this game will just stack up the actual output of multi-hits if you do one. Is anybody active in here? Are you going to eat me? No. Good. Nobody in here but us mosquitoes. Yep, still not spending them. Apparently sometimes you can buy yourself up over 99. Well, not buy, but pick stuff up to get you over 99. But other times I couldn't get over 99 with pickups. Like there was one set of 30 pickups that just didn't affect anything. Okay, so A4 is a thing. What else is a thing in Reach? Nothing. Yeah, we are running out of rooms, I think. Can we not stand under the machine? You know what this means? This means more backtracking. Bye, cat. Okay, so I can make call beads. That's neat. Using two things I don't use for anything else, so might as well put it up and spend all that up. The weirdest part is, I don't think anything drops either of those. All of the dry ice I found was in the pyramid, and all of the meteorites I found were... There was one spot in Act 3, and the rest were in one box here in Act 4, and that's it. I'm gonna buy one of these and see if they're better than the extras I picked up. They sure are. You might be wondering why, throughout the course of Act 4, they bothered having 3 tiers of gear, when 3 of them were in chests along the way, one of them was in a shop at the beginning, and the other was in a shop at the end. And if you're still wondering that, you have no idea how rushed this act is. Yeah, there's grease, which I don't even know what that's for. I'm already out of dry ice, and there's a couple of meteorites left. Hey, cool, another weapon. I don't care. I made sure I bought some at multiple points. Where am I going? Chessboard. Conveniently, the Windwalker is just not there. Knowing this game, I'm rather surprised they didn't call it the Skywalker, but you know. Alright, so a question. Now, this is not a question of which do you think I should do, but rather a question of which you think I'm going to do. Do you think I'm going to bother building up the money to buy those other 2 pieces of extra armor? It would be a good, I'll say just shy of 30,000 more credits. And the answer is yes. I'm not going to unless I die. If I die, I basically don't have a choice. What about you? Yeah, you can come back to him periodically to guess how many marbles he has, and if you're right, he'll give you a formula, I'm guessing. Getting out of here. You literally don't matter. Well, the first time I guessed 1. The second time I guessed not 1. Both of those were wrong. Well, that uses a grease and iron. I don't have a sustainable source of grease unless that is that might be buyable from the person in, or the robot in the first room that asked me to go free their friend. I might like get a spell from them if I go back and stuff, but I don't care. Unless you sell grease, you do. I will get 1 grease, just because I have some spare coins. See, the reason why I don't really care is I have 99 uses of heal. You know? Who cares if I can shield myself from an attack? The only thing that can possibly end me is if they just one-shot me, which... if that happens, I'm going to be upset for other reasons. Yes, I went into the room of instant death plants, watched it kill my dog like 3 times, then I left and turned the lights off, and that deactivated them. This game, I tell you. It has to be just RNG. Oh, whatever. But yes, if I die, I'm going to go out and I'm going to kill those spinny things. I'm going to keep killing them until I have enough money to get the armor, because they also give up a huge ton of experience. Actually, since this might put me straight back at the professor, well, I'm only missing like a couple HP. This save will be fine. So it's entirely possible I won't get any more. Energize. Now that sounds interesting. Drain? No. I'll get rid of the call bead thing. Of course, I think the game is already like self-broken by the fact that I have an infinite amount of bazooka ammo. for some reason my bazooka ammo just does not consume. Okay, this is back in the greenhouse. And this goes to A2 now. It didn't before, I don't think. Alright, Dagger, help me do some mapping here. The space I'm looking for is here. B4 and B3 are both sectioned off, but I know where those go. So let's see, I think, yeah, this is the pseudo town. Let's do this. Let's make this our last save. I know I've just saved like 5 times in the last few minutes, but you know. This is a thing I do. I see an opportunity to save, I save. No, not 3. I wanted A4. Anything else going on in here? I use this room to get to... Okay, junkyard, got it. Keeps telling me different things. In that case, I'm just going back to A1. That's, I believe, what they were talking about. Oh, right, there was that portal thing in here that was all not fully wired up. That must be the ticket. Okay, they give you yet another save right here. Alright, game. And now we're here. No apparent way anywhere else. Get used to this room, by the way. There's a very large, like, gauntlet of combat that happens in here. Ending in the final boss, all in one go. So I guess even though none of the ones that are actually fans are left, they can still blow you back. And now it begins. You know, I never got a last axe, I think. And nope. Didn't even get all the weapons. Well, I already failed 100% a couple times over because of a couple of missable alchemy things. Some that were missable, some that I just didn't go after. Good. This is the part where I say, to heck with all of you. Get up, dagger. Let's get energized. You too, dagger. Ooh. Something there hurt real bad. It's that scooter. Death Spider. Makes sense. Dagger's down again. It's fine. Hey, my bar isn't charging. What did I do to deserve Death Spider? Is that because I destroyed the cleaners? Are the cleaners mad at me? Oh heck. I blame everything on the Death Spider. What the heck is that? For some reason, saving there put me to the bone weapon. Fine, I guess. So if I just don't get far enough on screen, will they just not blow wind? Seems to be a yes. Fine. I won't destroy the cleaner. Feel free to clean, as long as it doesn't incur a death spider. They are making me regret not grinding for the gear. So it was 3 sets of raptors. Then it started with the eyes. Okay, no spider. Seems to be no spider. I guess that must have been it. If you destroy the sweeper, you get Death Spider, and Death Spider kills you. That's cool and interesting and fun. Why are these things still alive? These are definitely empowered from the ones outside. Okay, leave the sweeper alone. Dag doesn't even attack the sweeper. Now what? Clone. Clone is dead. Dag clone. You know what? Never mind. I, for one, definitely love that the hitbox for the bazooka shots is absolute garbage. You know, this thing can just get into line of sight, shoot you, and be out of it before you can do anything. One more Magmar. Whew. They tried to damage Q, killed me. But I wasn't gonna have it. Uh-oh. It's bad, it's bad. Is there anything I can do to you? Let's try a slow burn. Just for the sake of it. You healed yourself. I don't feel comfortable with this amount of health. Stop it. Hey. Okay, final boss time. No! No! This is the Carltron I remember. If he starts getting it on you, you will die. Like, end of discussion. Crush isn't doing business. Slow burn, because why not? Let's try explosion. Even worse. You know what? I need help. They're not helping. Now he's exploding all over. Might as well use these for healing instead of a heal spell. No combos. Ooh, I want to do that on multiple. In fact, primarily on dog, not me. Please use that on my intended target, please. Thank you. You know what? The dog's not even like really firing because he's not getting on screen enough to recognize the target. Ooh. Well, right now, dog is dead. And the reason why dog tanks a lot of hits is because it just stands in the way when you don't really need to be in the way ever. Rude. This is what sucks. Sometimes he jumps and gives you space to deal with, sometimes he doesn't. And if he doesn't, you are not safe to attack. But it's random when he does and doesn't. You have no idea what he's going to do in that respect. Yep, he did a short hop, so I took damage. Bam. So, that's the end of all that. Well, the ending was, well, it was interesting to, like, see and look at, but it just kind of happened, you know? It was like, you have to go get the people and get them out of here, and then you go and get them out of there, and then you're out, and it's like, well, guess we're back in real life, and then it's over. You know, I mean, I guess there was never really a lot of feeling of stakes in the game overall. Like, it was always just things happen, you go and deal with them, and then they're dealt with. And it's like, you as the player were always, like, involved, but you were very, like, not actually invested in the world. Like, you weren't a part of it. There wasn't really a reason for you to feel deeply for the stuff in there. I'm not really, like, I don't mind it. Like, it kind of felt like you are more like a visitor who, you know, thinks it's so cool that you're in this world, and, you know, it's interesting in its own way in that sense. Like, being the, like, total outsider that that he seems like he is. He just is, he owns it. And it's okay for him. Does not mind. You know, there are other games where it's like, this plays out like a game that's like in a simulation. You know, it's like you're just there, you're doing things, you don't really feel like you're dealing with something real, even if you end up like getting invested in the stuff there. But I guess this game didn't even really have that element. Like, the people in the acts, like the people from Earth that were living there, they had investment. But the main character, no, you were just there to make sure things turned out okay. which I don't know. I think it's fine the way it was presented. As for the atmosphere, a lot of it's not for me, like musically, audio-wise, not really for me, but it's skillful. They, you know, they did a good job with what they did. Post-credits. Oh no. That's cute. Like, I guess that's the main word for it. It's all very cute. Like, you have this thing you can only have with a American written game that you didn't have in most, like, RPGs in the 90s. You had to go to, like, PC stuff and, you know, systems and consoles that were more open to global development. Like, SNES wasn't really there yet. There were plenty that came out that weren't from Japan, but it was still mostly a Japan thing. Like, a lot of what wasn't Japanese developed was a port of, like, Amiga or something. There were a lot of EU games that were Amiga ports. Anyway, yeah. Overall, they did a really good job. Just a lot of what they did wasn't really for me. The like basic code of the engine, at least, is a big step up from what Secret of Mana had. Like in terms of how they did movement and damage setup and queuing of things and hit registration. That's all really good. It happens quickly, snappily. It's a lot slower and less focused and harder to understand in Secret of Mana. So they did step up like the actual basis of the engine really well. But yeah, I think ultimately the thing that killed this game the hardest was time, because like Act 4, you can tell that there was a lot more there, but it was just stripped down to the absolute bare minimum to include what they had. Like, there was no story, no, like, people. There was one NPC other than the professor that you interact with that I see to go to one other NPC. And then there's the automated shop, and that's it. Yeah. Like, you can tell that with this game, they worked from the ground up. Like, they made it right as they could, or as right as they could, given probably concessions to keep some semblance of a schedule. But then at the end, they just had to, like, drop it on the floor, put it out as it is, fine. You know, because, like, Act 1, probably the best act. Act 2, you can kind of tell that there were points where they're like, okay, let's just get you to the content, get you through it, and then there are, gimmicks. Act 3 is very, short and light. There is not a lot of actual interaction going on. There's one town with a ton of people, there's one town with 2 people, and then there are a couple dungeons in between. And each one is completed so much faster than the one before it. 2 being kind of an exception in that there's a lot of time wasting going on with the market and the desert, but I don't really count that. Like, in terms of actual stuff you're doing, the amount you do goes down a lot. It's like Act 1 is very structured. It all plays out very well. You're given clear ideas of what to do next and get through it. Act 2, Act 2 is fairly well structured. But once you get to near the end, they just say, okay, there's 2 dungeons, you have access to them, go do half the act's worth of work. And it's cool that they give you the choice of 2 different places rather than just railroading you through it all, and I think that's what they were going for. But, I don't know, Act 2 is fine. It feels like an Act 2 should be, in that sense. Act 3, there's very little. You're sort of directed in very short bursts of information, and you just kind of do the things and then it's over. In Act 4, there's just nothing. You just go, you get to the end, they tell you to go get the core, and then you finish the game. Everything that's there is just stuff that you happen upon and get through without any sort of direction or anything. It's just stuff. Anyway, I don't fault them a lot for that, because again, that was a time constraint thing. It's not a failing on their part. The game is still fairly buggy, but I pretty much passed them on that for the same reason. They probably didn't have a lot of time they could budget to that kind of stuff. But most of the bugs you experience aren't in your face prevalent, makes it hard to get through the game, or major mechanics just don't work. There's not much, if any, of that. But the actual game design, the layouts of the dungeons, the gimmicks of them, the way things work, isn't fun. Very little, if any of the dungeon navigation or things that they put in to make them unique is fun. There are 3 gears for each area you go through: towns, fields, dungeons, whatever. They are normal and inoffensive. Nothing really wrong here, but nothing really getting me into it. There's annoying, this is slow and boring, but not really a detriment. Or, they tried a thing and it just came out as annoying rather than fun. And then the 3rd gear is completely terrible. Why did they think this was a good idea? Why did they think that a huge pipe maze with 20 different paths and exactly one is progress? Why did they think that was cool? Yeah, teleporter maze in the dark. There's grates. When you're solo dog, there's grates in the dark, under of the castle. There are a lot of spots like that, where it's this isn't cool or fun or interesting. It's just bad. Like the first inside map of Bug Muck, that is also bad, but it's not like horrible. It's just you just walk the paths till you find all the wrong paths, and then you're at the right path. It's just you try paths. If they crumble out behind you, you have to take the chute back to the start and try again. You know, it's just repetition. It's not like memorization because they stay destroyed behind you. So you end up with just the one correct path. But you know, I could describe like every section of the game and whether or not it's just fine, annoying, or terrible. But there's none that I can say was really fun, really got me into it, was really cool. The most fun I had in the game was the final boss, which was like a huge gauntlet and had multiple things that can just kill you if you're not on top of it or if you're unlucky, including the final fight with the final boss itself. You can never really attack it safely. Just period. The dog never like detects that there's an enemy there to attack because it stays up at the top. Okay, the reality with the marketplace stuff is it's a fine idea. Like none of it is required. You don't have to do that. It's all for extra stuff. That's why it's fine. But the thing itself is also, once again, not really fun because it's just like this web of writing things down and doing things in the right sequence and having enough money to fund the whole chain of events. And it's fine, but it's... The thing that sucks about the trading stuff is that they have another one in Act 3, and the one in Act 3 requires stuff that you can only get in the one in Act 2. And if you didn't know that, you can't do anything until you're at the end of Act 3 and in backtrack mode. That is a pain in the butt. The alchemy is fine, but it comes in two gears. One is, I never want to use this because I'm going to use something that feels finite, and I don't want to run out. And the other gear is, I have so much of this stuff, and I can just burn through it with no regard, and I can just stomp on everything. And there is no challenge to the game because I have 99 casts of heal that will fully restore myself. The fact that weapons all have their own individual experience instead of like categorical experience is also a huge pain because the game gives you new weapons so frequently that you never really have time to get any levels on them, which means you're not getting charge attacks, which means you're not doing decent damage. The only ones that I maxed out, or, well, no, not maxed out, the only ones that I got to level 2 out of 3 were the Act 1 weapons. And the reason for that is because Act 1 is actually fleshed out and good. That was the problem. Because the game got like more and more squished in and rushed, you had less and less time to actually use the weapons that the game mandated you have. Because you have to have one of each weapon for each act. Has to happen. So, because you keep getting them faster and faster because there's less and less content to go through, you have less and less time to get them leveled up unless you go back and sit on them and grind. Like, I think if they were like more aware of that fact that you just didn't have enough time between weapons to get anything leveled up, they probably would have gone with the categorical experience, because I don't know, that seems like if they had time to do everything they wanted to, that would be a no-brainer to include. But again, not really their fault. But I don't know. I guess I've probably rambled on long enough. I at least wanted to make sure I got through to the 2 minutes of the end before the fake end starts, or the post-end credits start and go to the end. But that already passed several minutes ago. But yeah, I guess final assessment of the game, it's what they could do is decent enough. They should have cut down on the gimmicks in dungeons. Absolutely. It's all terrible padding when they put in a big gimmick for a place. Like, it's never an interesting addition. It's always annoying. But what they did, what they, had the resources to be able to do, was all just fine. I mean, I'm not going to say people are wrong for liking the game, but I don't think the total product is very good. It's a good sign that the people that made the game know what they're doing. Like, absolutely in that regard. But the product in a vacuum is not that good to me. Anyway, that's enough out of that for me. I'm gonna head off. This was an extra stream on an extra night as it is. So, yeah, I'll be back Saturday. It's likely to be back to Secret of Mana with Tristan. So that'll be a bit more interesting than listening to me blabber on about why this game isn't fun for me. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out, as always. It's always nice to have everybody out here to, spend time with and interact with, and even when it's not the best of times, it's still fun to have people around, and it's interesting to engage in perspectives with people, because like when I hear people talking about how much they like the game, and I put that in contrast with me, like whether I like or don't like the game so much, it helps me put things in perspective better, like for my own perspective, and just in general. It helps me like think about the games with a good like balance of objective and subjective reasoning, if that makes any sense. But anyway, yeah. I'm out for tonight. I'll be back Saturday. Thanks everybody for coming out, and have a nice evening.